known. And I hope everybody's doing well. So, yeah. It looks like he has changed his mind about wimping out. At least what he's showing his. Giving a speech, waving a sword. Doesn't that remind you of a little something? Pineapple Head, what was his name? From Panama, did the same thing, slammed the sword down when he was. Is this a movie? I don't know. We shall see. But what do I do when people are getting ready to come in and join us in the chats? I play a video and let people get settled in to get themselves a cup of coffee or a cold brew or something a little stronger. No, maybe something light, like some wine. I don't know. Anything you want. But anyway, folks, I'll go ahead and play the videos, and we'll be like butter and get on a roll.
Corralled into this box where we either have to hate Vladimir Putin and believe everything evil that's said about him and love Ukraine, and there's no in between. And that reminds me a lot of you're either a white supremacist or you go with the Democrat narrative on everything under the sun.
The most lethal terrorist threat to the homeland today, white supremacy.
And I want to understand white rage, and I'm white.
I mean, there's as much interference here as you could possibly imagine. Before you even get to Hunter Biden, Nancy Pelosi, John Kerry, Mitt Romney, and all of their children who earn millions from Ukrainian gas companies. These days, it's hard to believe anything because they've lied about COVID, they lied about Russia collusion, they lied about the Ukraine impeachment trial, and there's so much more going on in Ukraine that nobody is talking about.
Does Ukraine have chemical or biological weapons?
My job as a journalist is to try to understand what is the truth here. I don't like being lied to, and we're being lied to on an epic scale. When we're told your only choice is you have to be 100% with Zelensky. Slava Ukraina, who's a puppet who you can find on the internet in black stilettos and leather pants. Zelensky was selected, like so many of our leaders. And honestly, with big tech and with election fraud these days, for us and weren't actually voted in.
How to build back better.
We have to build back better.
Build back better.
If Donald Trump gets the Republican nomination, there are many of us that will move heaven and earth to ensure he doesn't win.
We are fighting the same. Ukraine is a bare-faced lie. Putin has been warning for 15 years that he is not going to stand by while the globalists take over the world, build bioweapons facilities and whatever else they're doing in Ukraine. Ukraine has been a center of money laundering for many of the leaders in this country. Billions of US dollars have been laundered through Ukraine, and we say nothing about it. Does nobody question these things? We have an idiot like Lieutenant Colonel Vindman.
Mr. Vindman.
Lieutenant Colonel Vindman, please.
Do you always insist on civilians calling you by your rank?
And sits there as a lieutenant colonel. He didn't even make colonel. And he's telling the president of the United States what his policy should be. You have a traitor in the form of Maria Yovanovitch, who was Obama's ambassador, who's telling Ukrainian government officials, don't listen to the will of the American people.
In his July 25th phone call with Ukrainian President Zelensky, the president badmouthed Yovanovitch, calling her bad news.
I was shocked, absolutely shocked.
And then she's given a cushy job for life at Georgetown University. And we're told that the president of the United States cannot say to his foreign counterparts that we want you to look into something.
If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Oh, son of a bitch. And they put in place someone who was solid.
So much hypocrisy and dishonesty here, and Ukraine is at the center of it all.
The storm's on.
Yes, sir.
I'm wondering what storm you're talking about.
They have unsuccessfully tried to take down the wrong person.
And he's absolutely going to come back with full vengeance the next time around.
Now think about what 4 years of a retribution presidency might look like. Our Constitution really does give the president tremendous power to destroy. This will be something we could never have imagined.
Now the gloves are off.
Some of Trump's close political allies told him they are working on figuring out the identities of the FBI and DOJ staff and and forming lists.
I will direct a completely overhauled DOJ to investigate every radical DA and HE in America for their illegal, racist enforcement of the law. The deep state is destroying our nation, but the tables must turn, and we will quickly destroy the deep state. We know where the bodies are buried. There are a lot of people out there that have done some very, very evil things, very bad things, I would say treasonous things against our country. People that have done such harm to our country. I've been looking at them for a long time.
He could order the investigation and prosecution of individuals who he sees as enemies.
Put them all in jail where they belong. You gotta get tough and smart, and you have to fight fire with fire. You can't allow this to go on. And I will be the one to clean it up. I am your retribution. We will take care of it. We will take care of it.
Hi, folks. Thanks for joining me tonight. My goodness, what a sad day. We had 2 members of the National Guard ambushed, and I saw a video. I said, I got to copy that video because I can't repeat the words they used, but it was a Fox News video. And I said, well, they can say it. You know, if I play the Fox News video, give a little commentary, and I went to go back to it to record it, and it was taken down. I can't find it, so I must surmise that Utizzle took it down. Gave a very detailed description of how the attack actually occurred. Very dramatic. Very dramatic. And I will talk to you in a way that won't get me in trouble and give you the information here in a bit. There's a little bit of lapse of time where you got to, kind of behave yourself so the censors lay off. But anyway, on the street, he gave a speech and was waving a sword around, which is what I was saying at the beginning of the video. And so he may be a little bit tougher to crack. And I just got various pictures of people that are, can I say enemies? Or just say people that don't have our good in mind. And we're dealing with them all the time. So let me see who came in to see me tonight. Hi, Sissy, how you doing? Bubba, nice to see you. Robin. Max here, Miss Menderson, Sissy's here, Ann's here. Haha, Felix, nice to see you. Rain's here, Wanda, Colette. All right, Colette's got her handle back. All right. Haha, nice to see you, Colette. Rain, Mac. All right, Miss Menderson, okay. Debbie, let's see, Debbie King. Okay, I'll see if we get another Debbie. I want to see Sparky. Nice to see you. Todd's here. Robin's here. All right, everybody's rolling in. Come on in, shake over your skin, and rattle around in your bones. Wayne's here, giving me a thumbs up. All right. Are y'all ready for your Thanksgiving dinner? Huh? Hope so. I got something special for the little girl. She's out doing whatever she does. But I feed her at night, and so that guarantees her return most of the time. BK2, how you doing? Who'd have missed? Here's another one. Another one that no friend of ours, I'll tell you that, wants to shave people's heads and spit on them make them walk down the street and have people curse them and spit on them. I had a video that I got out of out of my personal archives of a Cultural Revolution when they did exactly that. Maybe I'll put that up one day. Just remember Carville. Just remember Carville wanted to shave people's head. Played it right here on this platform. I played it. But what's this idiot saying here? Democrat strategist James Carville said Tuesday night that the Democrats have no identifiable leader as they head toward the next election cycle. A message that highlights an opening for President Donald Trump and Republicans while Democrats wrangle over their direction. Well, you got somebody. It's either this one here. Maybe this is your savior right here. Zoran Mamdani. He's raised half of his $4 million fundraising. Carville, talk to him. Or maybe you can talk to this one here. Right here. Maybe this one can take over the reins, right? You know, Shapiro in Pennsylvania passed some goofball bill. He signed it either yesterday or today that you can't use somebody's hairstyle to discriminate against them. So if somebody like this shows up, you got to hire them. Okay? It's their culture. It's their expression. No, this is a Andy No report on this. This is a guy who helped a girl that, well, she's a woman now, that injured somebody very badly with a blade, if you get my sentence, escaped from a group home. And this person was supposedly this 23-year-old's significant other, okay? It's a she, okay? The man who allegedly helped Wisconsin Slender Man escape out of state is revealed to be also trans. Chad Charlie Mecca was quickly released from custody by Poston police in Illinois. They didn't want to. I was surprised they let that person go. But after I think about it, I'd be like, man, just get out of here. Only was cited with trespass and obstruction. He'd been telling the media he is the best friend of 23-year-old woman, and they didn't allow him to visit her. You know, they're just discriminating. That's all it is. Discriminating against hairstyles. But anyway, that is a sideshow circus. Anybody want to give to Mom Dami? I can put up the GoFundMe. Anybody wants to help? Oh, that's still Maduro. We're going to see what happens to Maduro. But right here's the Seditious Six. The Seditious Six. And I put in my title, Media and the Seditious Six is complicit. Complicit. That's my opinion. You know, they can give their opinion all damn day long. How about mine? Oh, by the way, here's that, what I was talking about last night. Right here. Oh, come on, studio. Is my voice coming through, folks? Ulster Boys, how you doing? MS Motorsports, nice to see you. Greg, nice to see you. Yeah, who else snuck in here? Yvonne's here. All right. I think I got everybody. But here's what I was talking about the other night. Post 4008. Got a PDF you can click on and upload this whole thing. If you want to do some cerebral reading one night. Cerebral reading. U.S. Government Counterinsurgency Guide. January 2009. Okay, you get the whole guide and get some insights onto what this is all about. We are a counterinsurgency. What we're witnessing and what we're dealing with here on a daily basis, day and night basis actually, is the insurgency. Just like I put on my thumbnail, unlawful combatant. You know, I've been thinking for a number of days, actually weeks, that if it comes to fruition, what Mike Johnson said, I'm a Speaker of the House during wartime. Donald Trump said many times, I'm a wartime president. They changed the name from Department of Defense to Department of War. Okay. So if that were to be the case, all these people are saying, oh, well, this is a civil matter. Oh, the courts have to handle this. And you have the judges, oh, well, this charge, you forgot to put a period after the consonant that dropped a participle. You just name those people unlawful combatants engaging in illegal psychological warfare, okay? And that would go for quite a few. A lot of these attorneys that are using lawfare in bad faith to, if you can prove a conspiracy, commit sedition, okay? I don't know, just a term to remember, unlawful combatant, U.S. military ambushed. And it was an ambush. The Fox report was about just a... I got up there and he'd been doing a live stream earlier. And what the story is, that the two soldiers were sitting there, a bus stop, you know, where they have those glass enclosures where people can sit waiting for the bus, you know, whether they were inside that enclosure or not, or both of them sitting or standing, I don't know, but that's where they were positioned. And this individual came around the corner. Apparently knew they were there. He was hunting them, apparently. Hi, Pappy, Graybeard, nice to see you. And he took out his pistole, okay, and SHO, and then T, one of the guards, National Guard people. And guess what? It was a female. After he did that, he ran up and grabbed her rifle and used it to SHO and then T her in the head. The other guard member was running up to engage and also got SHOT. Then a third guard member who heard the ruckus but did not have a firearm used a blade. Now, I got to talk this way or I'll get in trouble. You all know that. Hi, Christina. And that's how one of the ways the assailant got injured. Okay? I don't know if he ended up getting SHOT by other guards, members of the National Guard or the Capitol Police. But I know that he got a blade, okay, inserted for him to disengage his attack and fall to the ground. And he was restrained by a combination of other National Guardsmen and Capitol Police. They were on him quick. So there was a fast thinking. A member of the Guard, you know, because they're not walking around, with their shoulder. I mean, their rifles at the ready against their shoulder, pointing at people, you know. They're just patrolling. Some of them might have a rifle. Some of them might not. And this guy said, okay, I got that video describing that situation was taken down, or I can't find it. Within 20 minutes, it was gone. A Fox News, I don't know. He gave an accurate description the way he heard it, the way it was reported to him. Has anybody heard the final word or latest update on the Guard members? I heard that they were reported to have passed away, and then I heard that was corrected, and they were still with us, but in critical condition. I know one of them is a female and got a severe injury to the head, okay, which chances are that's going to, the recovery is going to be partial and brutal. Hopefully, there've been head injuries. Look at Nate the lawyer. They said his tumor looked like a golf ball. It turned out to be like a pack of golf balls, and they took it out, and he's live streaming. But no, a different, a bullet to the head is something else. So, yeah, they were dressed like guardsmen, and they had it said on the back, National Guard, big tall letters. But it comes out who the person is. He's an Afghan refugee or immigrant. Breaking news. Here's JLR's thumbnail. This is, I think, an older picture of him, because I saw pictures of him getting in the ambulance where his clothes was stripped off, I think because of the pokes he received. You get what I'm saying? I mean, if you're trained, if you got to pull your blade out, you take care of business, okay? Take care of business. So he probably got multiple pokes that would be meant to, the best way to incapacitate him is to have him check out, right? So his name was Ramanola Lakawana. Yeah, we don't have enough Ramanalo Lakaanwals here in the country. We need more. But anyway, before it was revealed who he was, and I don't know, somebody might change my mind, but I'm of a mind that in concert with all the weeks-long, months-long gibberish of vilifying Donald Trump as a dictator, constantly repeating that his laws are unlawful, his actions are unlawful, and this latest insertion of the members of the military telling them, you better, essentially saying, you better stop obeying unlawful orders. But really saying, remember, you don't have to obey unlawful. It made them a target. It made them a target. So this person was, his visa went out, and he went berserk. And and they don't report. We hear a lot of the stuff, the attacks on the military, but this was last week. No, Fox News, and you don't hear about it from anybody else. ICE uncovers white powder in alleged terror plot on Texas agents. Okay. Not a peep. Not a peep from the so-called legacy media. And then you have courts constantly bombarding the administration with attempts to hobble the deportation process and the deployment of the National Guard. And the news does not fairly report that, was it 21 out of 22 of these so-called orders, so ordered, gets overturned, not just by the Supreme Court, but many times by appellate courts comprised of multiple judges, up to 6 or 7 at times, where the majority strikes down those screwball judges. No, they don't report on them. No, they don't. They just make it seem like, well, there's Trump disobeying another judge. Well, these judges are insurrectionists as far as I'm concerned. They're insightful. They're not showing respect for the rule of law. They're not acting in good faith. Every damn thing we throw up there, there's some judge. I mean, right down to food stamps or whopping somebody with a daggone nightstick when they're raising hell. You can't even do that according to these dopey judges. Tear gas, oh, you can't use that. Pepper spray, oh no. So ordered, I'm a federal judge, born in another country, dual citizenship. Some of them never had a judgeship. And then all of a sudden, the Biden cabal puts them on a federal bench. What the hell's going on with that? So that's part of the insurgency. They're conquering, they're capturing institutions. Let's see. Sections of our government, institutions. I'm just looking through the... Dude, I miss. I think I got it right. Yeah, they're creating atmosphere. And he probably is reading these court orders. Where's the one I saw that a judge was pondering freezing deportations in D.C.? Or did I put that on? Oh, we get to stay. Trump is giving illegal orders. He violates the Constitution. And the Supreme Court or an appellate court says, you're crazy, woman, or whoever. And the deportations can continue. Well, then they freak out. They've got everybody lashing out as much as possible at Trump. Where, okay, what do we do next? We get them to lash out at the military. We put the military in the hot seat. So if you're out there doing your job, doing your duty, they start throwing rocks at you, actually and figuratively or verbally, because they say you're breaking the law. You're following a tyrant. I think that is unlawful. What's this attached to? Rand put this up. I know it was an order, but I think we should all think about this before we attack. Now, how many times have you all heard me talk about this guy I'm going to put on screen? Let me see. And I think the first 10 or 15 words might not even be that much out of his mouth is enough to have him locked up. See who that is, folks? How many times have I talked about him? Lawfare. And I'm blocked on his channel. I know it. I'll play a quick part of it, and then I'll play the whole thing. See if you hear what I hear.
What do you think, as a lawyer, what do you think the consequences should be for people who are abiding by following these steps from the commander-in-chief when they seem to be complete overreaches of power?
They're following unlawful commands from Donald Trump. And
that right there, he's making as a statement of fact. Right? Did you hear that right? But I'll let it continue because it gets even worse. But did you know that he was a former attorney for JAG? It'll come up on screen. That gives him even, for Judge Advocate General, that gives him even more liability in my book. And Jen Psaki is operative and, in my opinion, a stone cold Marxist. Worked for the government and been installed in what is now called MS Now. His name pop up on the corner screen and telling you what his former position was. And I tell you what, it would just make my month to see a couple of soldiers come in and just pick him up by his elbows and put the cuffs on him. Version of inciting mutiny, okay? And what he's saying, you just heard him say it. Trump is giving unlawful orders. They're following unlawful orders.
What do you think, as a lawyer, what do you think the consequences should be for people who are abiding by following these steps from the commander-in-chief when they seem to be complete overreaches of power?
They're following unlawful commands from Donald Trump. And if you're committing offenses and your defense is going to be, I was just following orders. You know, that didn't work out so well at Nuremberg. It certainly didn't work out so well for Lieutenant Calley when he, engaged in mass murder, the My Lai massacre. And, Pete Hegseth just doing whatever Donald Trump tells him to do, like initiating a criminal investigation that could result in a court-martial of Senator Kelly for simply stating accurately what the military law provides, or Kash Patel's FBI opening criminal probes of members of Congress for speaking the truth. That is something that will someday, when the rule of law comes back into the light of day, will have to be tackled. They'll have to be held accountable for those abuses.
It's going to be accounting for all of this and remembering all of it. Glenn Kirshner, thank you so much for being here, helping make sense or explain a lot.
Thanks for making sense of this. He invoked Nuremberg. The screen said he was a former Judge Advocate General. That's how he's being put out to the public. Was he? I don't know. Seems to me somebody who was a former Judge Advocate General, Army Judge Advocate General, would have more on the ball than this. But he says they're investigating sitting members of Congress. Well, he was celebrating Jack Smith all the while. Jack Smith was doing illegal surveillance of senators, Jim Jordan, Devin Nunes, subpoenaing phone records. And he has said more crap to denigrate Donald Trump, and I did not know he was involved. And what's his bona fides really? I mean, this MS Now bunch, they're not backed by anything really, except whatever they hire. They're just bloggers, really. They're not backed by any major news organization. They're on. I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up getting sued. He's doing a blanket threat to members of the military. And let me know if I got this right. He's saying unequivocally that Donald Trump is issuing illegal orders and that the military is following illegal orders. And that he's threatening that there'll be a comeuppance. They've already done it. They've already committed these offenses in his brain, and he's threatening them. Is that what you all heard, or am I being too dramatic? But he's been a problem for a long time, and I've talked about him many times. Many times. Well, here's Hegseth. Trump instructed him to up the number of National Guard by 500. By 500. And I tell you, I was reading some of the posts, and a lot of them I know are bots. A lot of them I know are foreign. But it's like they're in another universe. But anyway, let me go ahead and play Hegseth, what he had to say when he after he met with Trump or talked to Trump.
Very productive meetings, but I want to start by saying after those meetings, myself and my team were notified that 2 National Guardsmen have been shot in Washington, D.C., critically wounded. The shooter shot in a cowardly, dastardly act targeting the best of America, heroes willing to serve in Washington, D.C., serve for people they don't know and they've never met because they love their country and their capital and their community. They were willing to do dangerous things others were not because they love their fellow Americans. Someone decided to turn that into targeting National Guardsmen. That will only stiffen our resolve. We will never back down. We will secure our capital. We will secure our cities. In fact, this happened just steps away from the White House. It will not stand. And that's why President Trump has asked me, and I will ask the Secretary of the Army to the National Guard, to add 500 additional troops, National Guardsmen, to Washington, D.C. This will only stiffen our resolve to ensure that we make Washington, D.C. safe and beautiful. The drop in crime has been historic. The increase in safety and security has been historic. But if criminals want to conduct things like this, violence against America's best, we will never back down. President Trump will never back down. That's why the American people elected him. America and our warriors, our National Guardsmen, are strong. And so we're following this very closely. We're getting information rapidly. I mentioned the faith of this country, the Christian faith, the prayers. I would ask for prayers for our National Guardsmen.
Excuse me, Mr.
Appeals to heaven for our National Guardsmen, for their families, on bended knee as a War Department, as a nation.
Excuse me.
We will never back down. And we think about them right now.
Venezuela.
We had a couple of great, productive meetings with the President and Minister of Defense here, where we are dedicated to the counter-cartel effort here. Criminality knows no boundaries, whether it's the United States of America and Washington, D.C., or it's the Caribbean and the Western Hemisphere. We are going to go after narco-terrorists. It will not stand. Our borders will be secure, whether it's the Dominican Republic or the United States of America, and we look forward to working with our partners to make it happen. You know, President Trump believes in a clear principle: peace through strength. You get peace by being strong. And if you're a narco-terrorist who wants to bring drugs to the United States of America, we will find you, we will fix you, and we will finish you, because we have all the rights in the world. We've got lots of attorneys and lots of intel analysts, and we know exactly who we're targeting and why. If you're involved in that conduct, we will kill you. It's that deadly serious because of the poison that has made its way into the American public for far too long. President Trump is serious about it. We're serious about it. And we're proud to be working with the Dominican Republic, another country very serious about ensuring that cartels don't set the agenda. We do. Thank you very much. It's been a great series of meetings. Thank you.
Yeah, and he put the word out about the cartel boats. We're going to blow them up. Here's that article I was telling you. Judge weighs in whether or not to pause ICE detentions. Yeah. This was last week. And you see police federal agent and then ICE wears ICE federal agent, and National Guard has on their backs National Guard. So he knew exactly who he was going after. Probably can't read a lick of English or speak a lick of English. You know, Nick Shirley, the young man I was talking about, let me read you this article here real quick. The FBI is seeking to interview 6 Democrat lawmakers who posted a video telling troops to disobey illegal orders, according to a person familiar with the plans. The White House said President Trump has not issued illegal orders. That's the way NBC... Well, the White House said they didn't. They haven't issued illegal orders, you asses. But they say, oh, the White House said Trump did not issue illegal orders. Little barbs, poison darts like that is what they specialize in. So anyway, this kid, Nick Shirley, he put up a post about one of his videos he had to take down and re-upload because YouTube, when they finally posted it, only posted it in some foreign language. I think it may have been Arabic. I'm not sure. I have to find the post. But he put a post up about it. He said, you know, they're screwing with me. So this is a video I got the other day, but I didn't get to play it. Now you have all these Islam men yelling Allahu Akbar. Oh, the Fox report said that. That through the attack, that's what he was hollering. He came around a corner, wounded the girl with his own pistole, grabbed her rifle, injured her very severely in the head, wounded the next guardsman. A third one came up with a blade and waylaid him. And then they got swarmed by Capitol Police and other National Guard. And all the while he was yelling what you see on the screen, Allahu Akbar. But anyway, here's Nick Shirley. He wins an award. He posts videos like this. And next thing you know, his videos are getting screwed with.
Now you have all these Islam men yelling Allahu Akbar. I have a question for you guys. If America were to get in a war with a country like Iraq, who would you guys defend, America or Iraq?
We won't get in a war. That's not permissible for us. But at the same time,
who would you defend first?
We would support our brothers in Iraq. That's the only way.
So you wouldn't defend America?
We would not defend America.
But you're American.
But at the same time, listen. At the same time, America is our country because we were born here. But in our Islamic book, we're not allowed to fight with people that are against our religion. So we just take up the jail time.
So you would
That's
not.
what we do.
So you would not defend America.
I would go to jail instead of fighting for America.
And who would you defend if we were to go to war against a country? And should that be a troublesome conflict of interest for somebody to be here in America that would rather support another nation, like Iraq?
Anybody who supports another nation needs to live in that nation. This is a Christian nation. A lot of the Constitution is based off of the Bible. And how far the country has fallen.
How far the country has fallen. Well, I tell you what, they need to identify that pudgy, dopey mess that was walking along with Nick Shirley and send him out. They got to go. They all got to go. We can't have that. We can't have this in our country. They do not want to assimilate. They just want to sponge off of us and eventually overwhelm and overthrow our system of government. What the hell is so hard to see about that? What the hell is so hard to see about that? So when I come across that post from Nick Shirley, I'll put it up. But anyway, whoa. Here it is. Here it is. Oh, come on. I guess I got to give it a second to register. But anyway, I'll put it up. This is a second post he put up about a different video. Well, it doesn't want to respond right now. I hope my voice is coming through good. Justin, how you doing? You're right on time because you can always go back and watch the first half after we're done. Ha ha ha. I'm 46 minutes in. So yeah, give me a like, folks. That really helps the video out. I appreciate it if y'all would do that for me. Here's Nick Shirley right here, the young man we just saw. Whoa. Come on. What did he say? Is this where he's talking about just a few days ago, thousands gathered in D.C. to protest. One man's sign said, "Is he dead yet?" Others complimented him and cheered him on while he held his sign proudly. You might think it's fun, just a fun and silly sign until people start actually dying. Now, 2 National Guard soldiers are dead in the streets of D.C. Maybe they're not. Hopefully, this promotion and glorification of violence must stop. That's not the one where he's... when I come across it, I'll put it up. Just remember, Nick Shirley, they're screwing with his videos. So, let's see here. Did you all know... Oh, that's not the one I want to put up. Did you all know that Muriel Bowser is stepping down? I didn't get to tell you all that the other night. I think I read it yesterday. She's stepping down. And what were we told? To watch these resignations. Okay, remember, she was encouraging the protesters that tried to burn down St. John's Church. She was egging protesters on. They were throwing rocks and bottles at Donald J. Trump and Bill Barr, Attorney General. And she's also married to Donna Brazile, who gave Hillary the questions for debate. But anyway, she's stepping down. But she just does a quick statement. That's all I have this clip on. Saying it was a targeted attack. What does that mean?
Mayor, does this validate the need for the National Guard here in D.C.? What we know, Andrea, is that this is a targeted shooting. One individual who appeared to target these guardsmen, that individual has been taken into custody.
Targeted a guardsman. First of all, his first victim was a female. And it was 2 that he was after. I know I'm being nitpicky. But, yeah, you got to put it up there. Here's Josh Shapiro. Since I mentioned it, I might as well put this up. Oh, wait a minute. My studio's not responding. I have to give it a minute. I'm just reading some of your comments. Well, that conscientious objector stuff, we went through that with Jimmy Carter and the Vietnam War characters that went to Canada, and he let them come back. He should never let them do that. Okay? I can guarantee you that if he was ordered to do something against people of Christian faith, he would do it. He wouldn't stand for America, but he would attack others besides America. Conscientious objectors during the Civil War era were against all war. Not being selective about it. Here's Josh Shapiro. Now, you remember now, if you're in Pennsylvania and you see some freako coming in, you got to hire him. Nation in Pennsylvania to respect identity and culture. For too long, many Pennsylvanians have faced discrimination simply for hairstyle that reflect their identity, like the purple-haired freak I put up earlier, and culture, and that ends today. These people wouldn't be in office if it wasn't for the manipulations. Oh, look here. Is this guy going to get in trouble or what? Swalwell doubles down. Claims to be in, can you believe this? Claims to be in talks with seditious military personnel. California gubernatorial hopeful Eric Fang Swalwell is leaning on a stunning claim as he fights for relevance, saying members of the U.S. military are positioning themselves as a check on Donald Trump's powers. They want to act as a check. Well, I hope they find out every single damn one of them and throw their asses out of the military. And I want to see remember these names that nobody else is talking about, that I've talked about as sleepers or shadows. Shadow power, sleeper operatives. And I mentioned Glenn Kirshner in the past. He can say, I am just an attorney who is giving my honest opinion, blah, blah, blah. No, I think he is actively, he may be too stupid to know it. I don't know. Maybe every time he says something stupid, a hair falls out. I don't know. Because he probably looks like a human egg. But whether he knows it or not, he's behaving in a seditious manner, and he's subverting the lawful operations of government. And he's used the law to do it, in my opinion. Him and Andrew Weissman. Those two names, remember, I've talked about them in the past many times. And you're seeing them popping up. Donald Trump mentioned it himself. Now, come on, studio. I want to pull this video up. What is going on with this woman? Who's this? Karen Vera de Leon, charged with terrorism. She's an employee for the Department of Justice. Here we have another worthless nitwit that, if it wasn't for a government job, who the hell else would hire except maybe Weingarten in the Department of Stupidity? We have idiots teaching a generation. But anyway, somehow she got her brilliant rear end into a government job with the Department of Justice. Let me play it. And she's been charged with terrorism. Holy cow. What did she do?
First at 5, a federal employee charged a federal agent with someone who made a threat against them. Thank you for joining us at 5. I'm Christine Galvan. Javi is off today. We learned of Karen De Leon's arrest just within the last 20 minutes. The Cameron County DA's office says she revealed the agent's name on a social media live stream. The stream was part of a federal law enforcement operation in June. Another man reportedly made a death threat toward one of the agents in the live stream. That is who she allegedly gave the agent's name to. The DA's office says De Leon is an employee at the United States Attorney's Office in Brownsville. She is charged with terrorism and tampering with evidence.
Okay, well, I was wrong. Attorney, what's a federal attorney's office? I don't know. Well, she can kiss all that goodbye. Put the fries in the bag. Okay, that's what you're going to do from now on. Now, all this screwed up. What is this one? Wait a minute. Here's another one. Some more seditious. I don't know if it's seditious or not. Oh, can you believe this? This crazy woman in Tennessee who says she can't stand Tennessee. She can't stand bluegrass music. She can't stand fried chicken. She can't stand overalls. Whatever, she said. She's in a neck-and-neck race, they say. That has the media been playing what this woman's been saying and how she's been behaving and her record? Democrat Afton Ben and Republican Matt Van Epps are barreling toward a photo finish in Tennessee's special election for the seat left vacant by former Representative Mark Green, a district the GOP usually wins. Well, here's a video of her voice. She's discussing, where'd it go? She's discussing what she wants out of life, I guess. There's other videos where she said, she doesn't want kids. She's definitely not someone that part of Tennessee's value system. I'll put it that way. But anyway, this shows you, I don't know why the video has it focused on this woman. That's not her. But here she is telling people what she wants.
My therapist always asks me to transcribe my dreams when they happen. And the recurring dream I've had is standing up in a cafeteria full of women. I don't know why I was there or whatever. And saying, I don't want children, I want power. And just screaming it at the top of my lungs. And for someone who grew up with my mother telling me never have kids because you'll have to give up a lot. You'll have to sacrifice professionally, which is what she was saying. And where I am now with seeing the consequences and the ramifications of women having kids and being in the political field and what they're able to achieve, because we don't offer, it's like the political field hasn't met the challenge of working moms. They really haven't. But also the deeply patriarchal structures that these women are involved with because they've chosen marriage and they've chosen to raise children. And I think in the South it's incredibly difficult to shake those, especially if you've grown up here and that's all you've been told is the definition of success, the metrics of success. Square footage of your house, and where your kids go to school.
She telling her therapist about her dream where she screams, I don't want kids, I want power. She's screaming to a bunch of women in a cafeteria all jumping around cheering for her. She's got a mental illness. Who the hell would want to be involved with somebody like that? And what kind of talents or skills or experience does this person have other than wanting to be a despot and a hysterical woman? An estrogenic harpy. And it's neck and neck, you say? Oh, look, here's something I want to show you all the other day. Midas Trash Pail Network. Glenn Kirshner's been a guest on there. Andrew Weissman's they played his takes on stuff on Midas Trash Network. Chris Smith in a month. Things are going to get stressful. I no need to read it all, but look at what he posts. You know why he posts? Who the hell knows what's... Because he's a foreigner, a bot, or somebody from Germany, a liberal soy boy from Germany. And he's posting a derogatory tweet or a meme about Trump in German. In einen Monat ist Weihnachten. For Trump wird es stresslich. Who the hell knows what he's saying? Trump is stressing people. It says something about Putin in there, too. Trading Ukraine for Putin. Foreign. But if it wasn't, they should disclose. They had that thing on Twitter where people were showing, not people were showing, but the platform was showing their country of origin, and people were flipping out. A lot of people from India, a lot of people from all over Hell's Half Acre, acting like they're American patriots and all this kind of crap. Who the hell are you? And where do you legally reside? I'll put it that way. Because things are so damn screwed up. Oh, I want to put this meme up for y'all. To put on your meta, to remind people of the way things used to be. And maybe we'll get back to that. My mom didn't ask nicely. She asked once. After that, things got real. How many of y'all were raised that way? And you know it was because your mother loved you, right? Wouldn't want to see you in a dumpster. Take a screenshot of that and put it on your meta page. So, let me see. A lot of stuff was being posted today, of course, about this situation with the guards, men and women. Here. How many times you all heard me use the word ghoul when I'm talking about these liberals, that they're a bunch of ghouls? Well, I'm glad it's catching on, because this liberal here, Jane Mayer, I don't even know who the hell it is, said this is so tragic, so unnecessary. These guardsmen should have never been deployed. I live in D.C. and watched as they virtually had nothing to do but pick up trash. It was for political show, and at what a cost. What a disgusting individual. And Rapid Response said, "You sick, disgusting ghoul." 2 of these heroes were just shot in broad daylight. The guard has saved countless lives, backed up by evidence, which you clearly too stupid to notice. They are American patriots. People were getting shot in D.C. in multiples every foggy day. Every foggy day. Look how many people's lives have been saved since Trump deployed the National Guard. And these onerous rulings. Is this Frank Luntz? Frank Luntz came out.
My first reaction.
Yeah, this is Frank Luntz. And I've given him a hard time in the past. I surely have. But he came out with this I believe just before the Guards people got shot. And he's looking better. He said he had a couple of strokes. And it looks like he's doing better psychologically. Did they give him a seat on the white hat train to materially assist in taking down this bunch? I don't know.
My first reaction was, why the hell did you put this video out? I know you're trying to poke at him. Of course you don't obey an illegal order. Of course there are standards and processes that our military has followed, not just for decades, but for centuries. That's a given. You're doing this just to create a political issue. And shame on you, because there are men and women who are serving in Japan, in Korea, all over the globe, in the Middle East, in other Asian countries. And this is Thanksgiving. And they're not home. And they're sacrificing for this country. And you're playing politics at this point?
So very good for him. And I have given him a hard time. Yeah, I see that. He was McCarthy's roommate. But he was coming on screen looking like hell. I mean, his hair was messed up. He was just, I said, he's in trouble. And then later on, he started slurring his words. I said, what, have you been on a long drunk? Then I found out he had 2 strokes. So I felt kind of bad about that. But he was definitely under a lot of stress because of his past actions, I think. Maybe he drove himself to a stroke with worry. I don't know. Let me see what Clandestine put up here. The Dems, MSM, are literally a domestic terror organization, brainwashing the masses and inciting violence against Trump, his administration, his supporters, and the U.S. military. I would add police. It's time to treat them as such. This is a regime change operation, coup, etc. We are under attack. That's what he had to say after this happened. Reports started coming in, I believe, around 2:30 Washington time. And just before this tragedy, Trump put up, there's a new word for a Trump Republican, which is almost everyone. Great policy is the key. It is T-publican or Republican. And Donald Trump Jr. said, shouldn't it really be Trumplican? Nah, we have to come up with something. Just replace the Republican Party name with a Common Sense Party. And if somebody wants to join and they have no damn common sense, guess what? You can't join. Let me see what this is. This is before what happened. Eric Dougherty said, great news. Federal agents are going hard in Minneapolis. Spotted perp walking more illegal aliens. Leftists are surrounding them everywhere. Nothing will deter these men. And it's mostly all these histrionic harpies, screaming nitwits that don't give a damn about their own country. If we get overwhelmed by this illegal immigration, that's too kind of a word for it, though. Did you hear about this? I think I got Carolyn Levitt's name wrong last night. I can't remember. I was kind of burned out. ICE arrests mother of White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt's nephew, according to a source familiar with the arrest. Wouldn't you know it's ABC News putting this up? Everybody's got nieces and nephews, and you can't help what the hell they all do or get involved in. ABC News. U.S. immigration authorities have detained a woman who is the mother of White House Press Secretary Karen Leavitt's nephew, according to a source familiar. A DHS spokesman identified the woman as Bruna Caroline Fieria. A reporter with ABC News New Hampshire station spoke with Leavitt's brother, Michael Leavitt, who also confirmed the arrest, and she said she was detained a few weeks ago. According to Michael Leavitt, his 11-year-old son has lived with him since he was born, but says the child maintains a relationship with his mother. A DHS spokesman described Ferreira, or whatever her name is, a Brazilian national, as a criminal illegal alien who has a previous arrest for battery and overstayed a visa that expired in 1999. She's been here for 26 years on an expired visa. So right away, well, my screen froze. Right away, the comments were flying, making fun of the family. And something that was obvious to me, at least, tell me if I'm wrong. When a mother loses custody of her child, something's wrong. Something is wrong. And I put a comment up, I believe this is it, yeah. I put a comment up to that effect. Oh, this is a different ABC. I said, take the broadcast license from this sorry bunch. Let me see. Well, let me go ahead and handle this one. And so a guy tells me, stay brainwashed by propaganda, very intelligent. They were talking about the Epstein files. ABC or NBC had one of those idiots had a picture of the same old wrinkled, creepy Epstein face talking about Trump. Right when we're going through the peace process, we're dealing with Venezuela, all the things that are going on. So I said, just take their broadcast license. So my answer to this guy was, Trump had Epstein and Maxwell arrested. Trump is stopping millions of invaders. Trump has and will continue to bring peace. Trump will replace tax slavery with foreign tariffs. Trump exposed trillions in waste Americans. Trump stopped the irreversible, quote, procedures committed against the young. You all know what I mean, right? Trump survived multiple attempts on his life, and on, unreported, breaking the matrix. If you all want to use some of this as talking points, I am not insulting this person. I'm not calling him an idiot. I just went right. You might want to add it, but quick, concise sentences, okay? Matters of fact, a flow of information, and ending it with breaking the matrix. So, yeah, that's part of the counterinsurgency. Information, easy to digest. But anyway, back to this Carolyn Leavitt story. Let me see. What did I put on there? I said, when a mother doesn't have custody of her own child, something's up, and it ain't good. At any rate, I won't miss her one bit. That's my take. So, when fathers don't get even visiting rights, it means they're all hardened criminals. Fiera is a DACA recipient. Nowhere in the article did it say that, but I'm not going to argue with this person. She was brought as a child. Also, the Levitts lie. Well, there's just a plopped out statement there that she could get sued over. Maria Martinez, researcher. There are old articles and recent photos showing a mother-son relationship. Actually, you are missing the point here. The current administration has exiled American children because their mothers were illegal immigrants. According to your beliefs, both mother and child should have been exiled. Why don't you support that? Because the anchor baby is Levitt's nephew? Okay. I answered Maria Martinez, researcher. Anchor babies and birthright citizens, children of both parents illegal, is an unlawful construct. That will end. Courts always defer to the mother for primary custody unless there's a problem. Self-deport if you have unlawful presence. Take your family if you care to, or be fined in accordance to the law. Have property confiscated and be disallowed future entry. Using the term exile is a disingenuous cheap shot for sympathy. Being, quote, returned to your home country is not, quote, exile. Not very good research going on there. You can fool the, quote, do-gooder class with that nonsense. But there will be law and order regardless of the harp-strings being plucked by the lefty loons. Goodbye to HUD, EBT, free medical, education, babysitting, and everything else they've been picking our pockets for over decades. Good riddance. So that's the way I felt. I chose and didn't hear anything back. And for all I know, they took my comment down, blocked me. I don't know. More than likely they did. And I said also, this guy here had to the importing of insurgents operation. HUD secretary. Take away that free housing. Take away Mohammed's 4 wives having 4 different places with 5 kids in each house. I wonder where I'm going to spend the night tonight. Should I go to Fatima's house? Oh, Mohammed Jr., he's very mean to me. I'm going to go to Duty Baba's house. Illegal aliens have no place in public housing. So that policy is being implemented as we speak. Let me see. Oh, come on now. The studio's not responding. Ha ha. But it's okay as long as you all can hear my voice. Oh, what's going on, Rain? Awaken Trillium, how you doing? Sherry. Good night, Bubba. Oh, really? Oh, yeah. You 5 children? Yeah, that's, to lose a child. Oh, really, Miss Menderson? Yeah, Miss Menderson's saying we haven't been to a family dinner in years because of Trump and them being brainwashed. You're my family now. Well, thank you, Miss. Proud to hear that. But it's not all gloom and doom with what's going on with Trump, right? This is even a CNN report talking about how the Supreme Court in Georgia, Supreme Court, dismissed the cases against Donald Trump and from Fani Willis. Okay? But they'll be sure to say, well, it can be brought up in the future. Oh, can it really? Can it really? We'll see about that. But anyway, this is the way CNN put it out there.
This is CNN Breaking News.
We are following breaking news just into CNN. A Georgia prosecutor officially dropped the historic racketeering case against President Trump and others for attempting to overturn the 2020 presidential election. I want to go right to CNN's Kara Scannell. What are you learning, Kara?
Good morning, Pam. Yeah, this new filing in from the prosecutor who had taken the place to look into the Fulton County investigation of Donald Trump and others has filed a motion with the court saying that they are not going to move forward with the case or dropping the charges. What he filed what's known as a nolle pros, and that means that in theory, because if the statute of limitations hasn't run out, a case could be refiled. But he attached to his filing about a 20-page statement explaining his rationales for why he did not think that they should move forward with this case. You'll remember this was the case that began with Donald Trump making the call to the Georgia Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, urging him to find the votes. And then District Attorney Fani Willis brought this historic investigation and filed those racketeering charges against Donald Trump and dozens of others for interfering with the 2020 election. She was then disqualified from the case because of an undisclosed romantic relationship with another prosecutor, and that is how this case now fell into the hands earlier this month of a prosecutor who was assigned the job of trying to find someone to take on this case. He said that he couldn't because there were too many conflicts, and he took it on himself. Now we're seeing the results of that, and that is that he is saying that they are not going to move forward with this case. And he summarized it in part by saying that he made this decision by examining the case file, examining what the jury had been presented, and also considerations of the law. He says that, contesting an election is not unlawful, but and that is part of the reasons for why he decided not to move forward with the charges at this point. But again, this is a nolle pros filing, meaning that they're dropping the case right now. In theory, it could be revived if the statute of limitations doesn't run out. But of course, Pam, this is the last of the criminal prosecutions that have been hanging over Donald Trump as he entered the White House. The only conviction that he faced out of the 4 indictments was the one in New York for the hush money payments, and that one he is appealing. Pam?
So they act like it's some kind of paperwork thing that they can bring back up later. Wait till the you-know-what hits the fan. And Rudy Giuliani put out a post. I wonder if I can find that real quick. Where he's talking about how he's going to sue their rear ends. But he quotes. Let me see if this is no. He quotes different statutes and things like that. Let me see. Is this it? Wow, that's a lucky pluck out of there. Rudy Giuliani. Statement of Rudy Giuliani. After an unjustifiably long and damaging delay, the case was finally dismissed. However, it only will be concluded when the state of Georgia prosecutes those responsible for this malicious prosecution. The state of Georgia, Fulton County, and corrupt officials must also be held civilly liable. You can be sure this will be pursued vigorously until all the victims are made whole and the political malefactors, Democrat and Republican, are held accountable for entirely undermining the administration of justice in Georgia and in the U.S. The legal basis is, in part, Chapter 7, false arrests, false imprisonment, malicious prosecution, and abusive litigation. Did you hear her say anything about this stuff? Why wouldn't they take a statement or an interview of one of the people who were involved in the case. Instead, she's a nitwit. She's a puppet. She's a true believer. So anyway, action will be taken. Jack Posobiec put up while all the news was coming out. MSNBC is on air right now saying the National Guard deployment to D.C. is illegal. I think he was referring to that MS Now report with Glenn Kirshner I just played. Maybe he could have been referring to something else. They're not over bright. That's for sure. Man, Trump put out a lot of wordy posts. But as far as the one in what happened in D.C., there's the outfit I was telling you about. He's got his ascot, or also known as a scarf, and his black wool jacket, peacoat, looks like. The animal that shot the two National Guardsmen, with both being critically wounded, and now in two separate hospitals, also severely wounded, but regardless, will pay a very steep price. Law enforcement. These are truly great people. The office of the presidency, am with you. I say let the military handle that guy, because he attacked the military. Declare him an unlawful combatant. But there's certain steps you got to go through. But that is what I would hope for many of these people that are involved in lawfare and all this other crap we're talking about. Just call them unlawful combatants and be done with it. Oh, folks, remember when I talked about long green? And a lot of people are saying, what do you mean by long green? And I told you about a friend of mine who was born in the 1920s. Might have been late 19-teens, 1919. Whoa, what happened? But anyway, here's the guy talking about the cartels, what we're dealing with. And I said that the cartel, you would be surprised how the reach of long green, when you got long green, how far you can reach into other situations, other businesses, other countries, when you're talking hundreds of billions of dollars. And I am predicting that in Arizona, there will be an eruption of cases of people who have been bribed and who have been aiding and abetting this infiltration into our country with talking about how much money these people are dealing with in Venezuela.
The Mexican cartels, I know everyone in America talks about the Mexican cartels, but they're not the big boys, ladies and gentlemen. They're not. They're the drivers. Everybody talked about Chapo El Guzman. Mm-hmm. He's a bloody driver. He's a nobody. Okay, he's a nobody that had $1.4 billion, but these guys have hundreds of billion. There are at least a dozen people in Venezuela that have more money and power than the Central Intelligence Agency and money to spend on operations. That's how large and gigantic. This is the largest transnational criminal organization in the world that no one knew about or no one wanted to talk about until they stole our election in 2020 and we decided, okay, you want to play hardball? Here we come.
If you go on the internet and you look for articles about it, there's hardly anything.
No, because they crush anyone
who
dares
anybody.
Talk about
That's right. It's been wiped.
They deal with hundreds of billions of dollars. Hundreds of billions. And he ties it into the CIA and other, maybe I'll play some other videos of his, but that's what I mean by long green. And I was trying to describe where the term comes from. I said he would lay money on his hand and spread it out up his arm all the way up long green. And I said, well, people aren't going to understand what I'm saying. Well, look what this person did. He's over in China. He's been over in China. He's showing you his long green $1,000 worth of these tickets, I guess, that he's betting on. Or 36,000, I don't know. Who is that? Who is that over there talking up the Communist Party, hanging out in China land, and doing a demonstration of exactly what I was talking about last week, long green? Where that saying came from. Here he is with his government minder, the young lady with a camera. Everywhere he goes, he's got to have a government minder, and he's showing you the long green. Now, he can't pull it all the way up to his shoulder like my old friend did that had a very famous person on his books. I talked about that. But that's the pose I was discussing when I said somebody bragging about they had long green. That's funny how that popped up. And it's right now. I mean, he did this just day before yesterday. Is he watching my videos when I talk about long green? I don't know. Somebody was putting some stuff in my... here's something nobody's talking about. Did you all hear about a military coup? Where is it at? Let me see. Is it this one? Let me see. This might just be a report on the Ukrainian authorities. I'll get to the military coup in a minute. Are ready to agree with most points of Trump's peace plan except for 3 key points. Limitations on the size of the armed forces of Ukraine. They want to up it to 800,000 from 600. NATO membership. They want to join NATO. Ain't no way in hell. And territorial concessions. They've already lost the territory. This is reported by CNN, citing a source in Kiev. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Reports are that every major power station in the country is down. Okay, they're struggling just to charge their batteries on their phones. Must keep themselves warm this winter. Trump's special envoy Witkoff will arrive in Moscow next week, said Russian presidential aide. But anyway, there was I guess I'll show you the second report here, of a military uprising, military coup. After the country's president was arrested, the military of Guinea-Bissau also announced the arrest of opposition leader Fernando Diaz. So they're getting both sides of the coin. The military's locking everybody up. I don't know what the dynamics are in that situation. That tells you the name of the president, but he's been removed from power. Oh, here's another judge. Here's another judge undermining and vilifying Trump and undermining our law enforcement and military. A federal judge has struck down a Department of Homeland Security policy implemented in July that forced most immigrants who entered the United States without inspection to remain in detention through their removal proceedings. The decision could potentially allow thousands of immigrants who have been subject to mandatory detention to be released. Thousands of immigrants could be eligible for bond hearings, striking down DHS policy judge rules. Another judge that is seditious, subversion, subverting the lawful operations of government, using their office in bad faith, in my opinion. Wait a minute. Let's see. I got, this is a good one. This is another relaxation video. I'll play it twice. You can see somebody get blasted in the face with pepper spray. But before she gets blasted, look at her getting in the officer's face. Okay? Because don't you know these are all unlawful orders? Don't you know that Donald Trump is an illegitimate president? Don't you know that Donald Trump is a felon? Don't you know that you're obeying unlawful orders? Don't you know that you're violating the Constitution and due process? Yeah, I could keep that on a loop and just go to sleep listening to that because I know what's happening. She's getting her face blasted with pepper spray, and it's wonderful. Let me see what this one is. This is a black screen video. I don't know what it is. We shall see together. Let me see. I'm glad I'm not having it. Whoa. Oh, this is the report. There you see it on the back. It says National Guard. They were wearing the same outfits when they were waylaid, clearly defining them as National Guard, not ICE.
Focus will turn to whether these guardsmen were specifically targeted. If that's the case, it would fit with what we've been hearing from law enforcement officials for a number of months now, that some political flashpoints in the country, whether that's immigration policies by the administration, the ongoing Israel-Hamas conflict, even amid a tenuous ceasefire, those kinds of flashpoints have made people in uniform, be they military, law enforcement, government officials, people in uniform, have increasingly been targets, and that is going to be one focus of the investigation going forward, Kira.
That was, what was that, CBS? Might have been ABC. But anyway, no kidding that there's political, who's stirring that political stuff up? What's this one? Let me see. Oh, yeah, it was ABC's Aaron Katursky speculating on a motive in the shooting. We know what the motive was. Here's some points people were putting up on Twitter. Camilo Montoya Galvez. CBS News, multiple law enforcement officers said the suspect in the shooting of the National Guard member in Washington, D.C., 29-year-old Afghan Ramnal, some Lakanwal, noting he entered in 2021. It's different updates. Let me see what this one says. Oh, my studio doesn't want to do nothing. Hi, Hebrew. How you doing? Well, yeah, they were adequately armed, but who would think that somebody would just run around a corner, guns ablazing? That's what happened. I mean, he was basically acting like an assassin. Come on, screen. I'll skip that one. But anyway, Remember when I was telling you all about those drones that Zelensky was deploying? That they were making thousands of them. I showed you all a factory where it looked like a scene out of Star Wars. All these drones lined up. Well, here's a picture from Ukraine. Look at all those wires. Looks like a spider web over the whole city, doesn't it? This is what one of the districts of Kherson looks like. Densely covered with a web of fiber optics. So they can take these drones. They're run by a fiber optic cable. It's like having it on the end of a fishing line. And your commands go through the fiber optic cable. You can send that drone right through somebody's bedroom window. You can land it right on top of their head. You can sit there and wait for people, and like the old lady that was throwing the trash out, they waited for her to get out of the way. But look at how many drones they've been running over top of Kherson. That's the used fiber optic cables. And the heat is on in Ukraine. And I don't mean heat to keep you warm. I'm talking combat operations. Combat operations. Look at this apartment complex, which is where they house a lot of time recruits and stuff. But they're going great guns. Frontline Konstantinovka, one of the major cities where there will clearly be heavy fighting if peace is not made. They're losing territory very rapidly. Their power factories or whatever, they just can't produce energy. So they got to get to the table. Somebody's got to do something. Zelensky stated that he's ready to meet with Trump, but only in the presence of Europeans. I am ready to meet with President Trump. There are delicate issues to discuss, but European partners must be present with me at the negotiations. Who are you going to bring, Macron? Those troublemakers? Well, we'll see how that pans out, because he was supposed to get with Trump by tomorrow. Local media report that in this Italian city of Milan, up to 80% of crimes are committed by illegal migrants, predominantly of Egyptian origin. How come that doesn't surprise me? Let's see what this one is. Oh, here's the coup. A coup is happening in Guinea-Bissau. The country's president, Umaru Sissoko Embalo, has been detained by the military, according to the publication Jeune Afrique. The president himself called the editorial office and reported this. So he picked up the phone and said, I'm in custody right now. According to him, the coup was organized by the chief of the general staff of the army. Or any interest in it, what? I don't know. I'm sure they're aware of it. Russia must reduce its army and defense budget, said the EU High Representative for Foreign Affairs, Kaja Kallas. If we want to prevent the continuation of this war, then we really need to rein in Russia's army, as well as its military budget. Who the hell does she think she is? You're talking to the flippin' Ruskies. They don't listen to the EU. And the reporter says, the alternative reality continues to progress. In other words, you're delusional. Listen, Putin, you have to reduce your army. Well, I got all those posts from Trump. I'd be all night reading them. Oh, yeah, the fire, 279 missing. That's horrible. I don't think they're going to, there's miracles, There's miracles, that's for sure. But this is what Todd's talking about. Is it Todd? Yeah. Here it is. Can you imagine that? Look at this place, how tightly packed together they are. The death toll in the most powerful fire in Hong Kong in 17 years has risen to 36, local media report. 279 people are reported missing. The fire in a residential complex with 2,000 apartments occurred on November 26 in Hong Kong, and firefighting efforts are ongoing. Wow. Now, I'm not being a wiseacre. I'm just wondering, with all those flames, do you think even one building is going to collapse like what happened on 9/11? Even one? Fire looks pretty hot to me. I want to ask you all, before I play a blast from the past, what do you all think of this? Campbell defends its soup, calls executives' alleged remarks on ingredients patently absurd. Why would this executive come out and say what he said? Campbell's is defending itself after a company executive was allegedly caught on tape calling the soup's company's products highly processed food for poor people, and that the chicken in it is bioengineered meat. Fake meat. Why would an executive come out and say that? Is it true, you think? Let's see what this guy's got to say about it. Anyway, I'm going to play you all a little blast from the past that you might want to encourage your friends to watch if they don't know what's going on in this big old world. So I hope you all have good plans for tomorrow, and I hope that events can get some of you have alienated family members to come together, or at least have a rational conversation of mutual concern for the fate of our country, and not only our country, our civilization and the world. How about that? And let's give thanks that we're living in a time of unique experiences that haven't been seen in a millennium. And they say we were chosen for a reason. So anyway, folks, I want to thank you all for spending your precious time with me. Tastes like chicken. That's right. I don't know why they did it. Yeah, I'd like to get that tape of what that executive said. But anyway, yeah, you'll eat the bugs. So anyway, folks, you all have a great Thanksgiving. If you're subscribed and hit the notification bell, you'll know when I go live. And I have a link in the description for Buy Me a Coffee if anybody wants to help the channel out. I didn't mention it the whole broadcast. I want to thank Mike and Bev and Gary and Wayne for helping out this week. I do appreciate it. All right, folks, enjoy this video. I'll be seeing you soon. This is Mountain Man, over and out.
The difference of this forced industrial revolution is it doesn't if you take a genetic editing.
Data might enable human elites to do something even more radical than just build digital dictatorships. By hacking organisms, elites may gain the power to re-engineer the future of life itself. But soon, at least some corporations and governments will be able to systematically hack all the people.